it is today. I've just found out this morning, and I don't know who decided this, but I agree. Anyway, for me, it's like every day. It's Happy International Chess Day because I'm playing pretty much every single day. And if I don't play chess, then I will do puzzles. If I don't do puzzles, I'm watching video lessons or I'm doing myself some video for YouTube for my own channel. By the way, you can just have a visit and have a look at the stuff I've uploaded. So, yeah, happy International Chess Day, all of you chess addicts and chess lovers. Let's sugarcoat it. Okay, so what you see on the screen now is Chessable courses. It's something that I've found in Anish Giri analyzing the tournament, the candidates tournaments from 2019. And this game he presents here in particular shows exactly the level of creativity and aggressiveness that Ali Reza is playing. And no wonder he won yesterday against Magnus Carlsen in the Bullet Championship. And today, I mean, in just a couple of hours, he'll be facing he'll be facing Nakamura. So that is definitely something to be watched. Don't forget, today, I think like in 5 hours from now, it's 1 p.m. UK time. So I guess at 6 p.m. UK time, you got to check with your time zones as well. You're going to see Alireza facing Nakamura. Now, let me just briefly check everything's fine on the other platforms. This one looks just fine. I hope sound is okay as well. Okay. All right, ladies and gents, let's go at this analysis here. So this is something. Oh, what's this? No, actually, I want to do this game. So can I go back or something? Iruja versus Zarkovic, 2019. This is something. Yes. So you're gonna like it. You're gonna like this one. So e4, c5, knight f3. So Firouzja plays with white. Zarkovic is with black. D6 and knight c3. Not a problem. Of course, white could have played c3. That means c3 and d4, known as the Alapin. Not a problem. They could have played also the bishop to b5, which is, I think, is the canal variation. If I'm correct, Moscow canal variation with bishop b5 straight away. That could be also a choice for white here. a6, and normally a6 means that black wants to play the b5, perhaps getting bishop to b7, this kind of ideas, taking a lot of space on the queen side from white in, and at some point perhaps even harassing this guy here on c3. So that would be, just in a few words, the plan. Now white responds with g3. Anish Giri, you can read Anish Giri's ideas here on the right hand side of the screen. And actually, he tells us that g3 actually comes at a reaction to a6. Because obviously, if b5, you're going to have very nicely bishop to g2. He considered that it could be a little bit of a wasted tempo. So b5, d4, straight in the middle. Hitting now, because what you're threatening here with white is to take the pawn on c5. And if black takes back with d, then, you know, you're going to take the queen. Black is going to take no more castling for black here. That might be one possibility. Knight takes, pawn took on d, and knight takes on d4. He develops the bishop, makes a lot of sense, and bishop g2. Knight f6, nicely theoretical, and castles. So that's what it is at the moment. White has castled the king, nice and safe. He needs to figure out what to do with this guy here. Black needs to spend a couple of more tempos to get the bishop on f8 somehow in the game, and then to castle the king. And, you know, his own knight on b8 needs to come and play something at some point and develop that piece. e6, very many good stuff here. You may get the bishop on to e7 and then castle. And this pawn on e6 also stops the white knight from playing on d5. You never know. So e6, very good stuff to play anyway. And it happens a lot. And in Najdorf, that is, it will happen very often, that e6. Rook e1, you get the rook where the king is. This, very nicely. It can't be bad, you know. So if you got your rooks, get them on the semi-open files. Open files, semi-open files. Get your rooks on them. They are very happy rooks. Knight plays on d7 now. Probably he wants to, you know, readjust the knight. Perhaps via this b6, c4, perhaps c5. You know, this kind of ideas. It looks like the knight bd7 kind of like takes space from the other knight, so we'll continue now. a4, challenging the b5 pawn. Takes and takes now. And that's something now super creative. It gets really creative. So black had played bishop f8 to e7, and who can blame them? I mean, you want to castle the king, makes a ton of sense. But this is so unusual. Rook, which you start with on a1, suddenly the rook gets to b4. This is so unusual. I mean, just look at this. It's unbelievable. And now knight c5. And you would say this is it. It's nice and safe now. Knight c5. Done. That's it. I finished the problem. And now, I mean, it's just, you can't believe what happened next. And, you know, that's just a very kind reminder about Ali Reza's potential. I mean, he just took the bishop. He just took the bishop with the rook, sacking an exchange, and knight takes. And then he pushes the pawn e4 to e5. Already targeting the knight on b7 and the rook on a8. Very tactical, very creative stuff from Ali Reza. So the guy's been playing tremendously powerful chess. Black tries to block now to, you know, to just not allow that bishop being so active along this diagonal. But it doesn't stop here. I mean, he's just absolutely relentless. He's absolutely relentless. So after sacking an exchange, and now he makes a sacrifice. I mean, this is just, he makes another one. I mean, this is, look at this. Obviously, you can't take with the queen, because if you take with the queen, the bishop takes you immediately. Pawn takes here. Blacking hadn't castled yet. It just uncastled. This is just crazy. Knight to f5 makes a lot of sense. Also attacks here. So apart from the nice green arrows you can see on the screen now, knight to f5, attack g7, hits a bit this guy here, maybe this idea, but most importantly, the bishop will take the pawn back. The pawn on d5 will be captured back. Unbelievable. Castles now, and you'll see black should be fine, okay? Bishop takes now. Threatening b7, so that's very important. Bishop to c5. You just simply can't, you need to get that bishop in the game. B4 now comes. Hello, conspiracy. B4. And now probably you may wonder why on earth did the B4 had been played here? And the problem being, if black accepts this pawn, will be facing another issue, and that is queen to g4. Oh, this is absolutely fabulous game by Ali Reza. I mean, look at all these threats. Look at all these threats. Can you believe that? Very good news indeed, conspiracy. That's very good stuff, man. I'm happy you moved into a new home. So bishop now retreats on b6. Queen to g4. Threatening just to checkmate on g7. g6. And now you open up the bishop's diagonal. Look at this. Look at this. Opening up the bishop's diagonal. Queens try desperately to just, you know, stop them. Pawn goes forwards, threatening rook. Just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Rook moves desperately. And now, more shocking moves from Ali Reza. Bishop takes. This is just absolutely sick. If queen were to capture here, we having the knight on h6, poking king and bishop. Can you believe that? And if king were to take, I would assume we're looking at queen to c4. And what do you play? Because if you move the queen, we're going to take it. Again, with checkmate, actually, it's game over because they can't move anywhere. The knight taken, including the g7. That is very too good news, conspiracy for you. And happy International Chess Day, apparently. They've decided for 20th of July each year celebrate our favorite game. So that's more good news for you. Moved into a new home. You got a 200 ELO online on chess.com. Absolutely fabulous. And look at this game that Ali Reza played. And look at the last move he played. This bishop sacking on f7. It's an artificial calendar day chosen by whoever that they've decided they would like to celebrate chess. International Chess Day, like many other festivities across the globe, they just celebrate stuff that people are happy with. So yeah, we convene upon a day in which we will be happy for no reason for that particular stuff that we like. So something like that. International Chess Day is just a normal day. There's just nothing else. But we could assume today we are coming together to celebrate chess and perhaps making more chess friends. So that's all about. So bishop takes f7. Again, queen can't touch it because of the fork. King can't touch it. So he just simply resigned here. This is just crazy. So this is Ali Reza conspiracy, and he plays absolutely magnificent. Have you seen yesterday Ali Reza playing Magnus Carlsen? I think it ended 14.5 to 11.5, and Magnus barely kept it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't in the best day of his chess career. It was very difficult for Magnus yesterday. Maybe bullet is not his strongest point. Maybe Ali Reza grew incredibly strong. He's incredibly fast. At bullet is just incredible. And I'm super super curious and hyped and excited to see Ali Reza later on today facing Hikaru Nakamura, who yesterday I think beat Naroditsky. I don't think I know for sure he beat Naroditsky. I don't know. It was 21 to 11 or something. I mean, this was huge, absolutely huge. Have you seen Nakamura Naroditsky yesterday? Or Dania? How he prefers being called. Fabulous stuff by Ali Reza. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, we could potentially do it right now. I don't see why not, because you just came now via Twitch. I think we can go and have a look at some of the stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go back. Let me check on the OBS. Yes, yeah, the OBS shows me chess.com board now. Remind me again your username. I think it was something on conspiracy as you could as you use it right now. Is it this guy here? 1-2? Is it okay? Okay. So which one shall we looking at? Let's take the 27 moves one. I mean, not the, oh, well, what the heck? We can even take the 8 moves one and see what exactly went wrong here. Okay, let's take the 8, the 6, and then we're gonna go on the 27th. Let's have a very quick look here. Probably was something in the opening. You probably did something in the opening. Let's have a look here. What happened here? I mean, the accuracy is stunning. Whoa. What did happen here? Let me just toggle off this line. So your accuracy, guys, for 200 LO rating is stunning. Okay, you want to trade off everything you took with the pawn? Okay. Now I wonder if we take with the knight, is it that bad? I would probably be very inclined to do knight takes f6. You resigned. Why did you resign? Okay, we're going to see this in a minute. So knight to f6 would be probably the best thing here, I guess, because I'm also attacking the pawn on tempo. The pawn on e4, that is. So I would seriously think knight f6, then knight takes c4. For this reason alone. Let me see, the engine agrees. Yeah, it gives you g takes f, but knight f6 is the more natural stuff. Okay. So what did you actually play here? d6 you play. Okay, let me tell you another idea. You could also make a pin. There's no reason for you to resign at this stage now, but you could just very well play knight f8 to b4. Just make a pin. If you have a chance to make a pin, do it. I mean, it is always good to make a pin. It just keeps your opponent piece in place. They can't move that piece. Bishop b4 is actually awesome. d6, although it opens the bishop here, it also blocks in the other bishop on f8. So I would get the bishop out first. I'd get the bishop out first, and then push e6 if I really want to do that. Bishop b5 checks you, and you are on 9 minutes 36. You don't have to resign here at all. What was the reason behind your resignation here? I mean, I would just do c6. I would push that guy with tempo. I would repel that bishop with tempo. Why would you resign at this stage? I mean, this is move number 8. Yeah, you might have had some better moves, namely knight f6 instead of g takes f6. You could have played knight f6 and then threatened this guy, making a pin. I mean, hey, you've got very good prospects here for tactics and middle game. Absolutely not for resignation. I don't think you have a strong enough reason to resign here, conspiracy. I wouldn't resign. I wouldn't have resigned. Not at this stage. I mean, you just if you look at the idea, just trade off everything and just go for a draw or something. You were streaming. Oh, you started to stream now. Good stuff, man. But you don't have to stop a game, resign because another guy challenged you. I would say finish up your game. You know, just do the best in that particular game, and then you play the other guy. I mean, you can't stop the game you're currently doing because another person wants to play you. That's a strange one. I wouldn't have resigned here. That's out of the question. No. Other than that, I think yeah, you did have probably a better one. Oh, so you're not a chess.com community streamer. Probably you're streaming for another platform or something. Okay. Let's see the other one. So no reason whatsoever for you to have resigned so quickly. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The queens came off the board. You shouldn't have resigned that game at all. Not at all. I mean, I resign when I blunder, something like that. Let me just do it like this again. So you're playing white here. Okay, the Italian game. I don't see anything wrong here. Well, Philadelphia defense because d6, e5. Nice way. He needs to play something like bishop e6 now, immediately. What? What did it happen? Wait. What happened here? What? Why did he do that? Okay, he's getting in trouble now because f7 is hanging. And actually, he gave you... Nah, you can't touch it because of this one. But I think you could just take on f7, right? Can't you just do that? I reckon knight f7. Would that be very bad? Okay, he wants to checkmate you. Can't you do castling or something? What? No. No, is it that bad to do castling here? Just wonder, can we castle here? I wonder. What do you think? What should white play at this stage? I mean, you could take the rook later if you want, if the rook is still there, but definitely I think you should castle here. I don't think queen e2, queen f3 are that strong, but probably castling would be best thing ever for white. Let me check with the almighty Stockfish. Yeah, castle's only doing very well. Queen e2, as I said, or queen f3 also I mentioned, but castling is by far the best stuff here. Yes, so you absolutely... No, that's good. But look, you playing a rapid game. You really shouldn't play like bullet type of chess. If you got 9 minutes 30 seconds on your clock, you absolutely shouldn't move that fast. So just take your time. Identify actually the reason the guy played here. It's not just to move the queen away, but also to hit you on f2. So practically you're doing quite very well here with white. If you just castled or bring about the second defender or f2. So you either bring the second defender, oops, queen e2, queen f3, but by far the best would be castle your king. And yeah, 20 seconds. Yeah, no, not bullet. Don't do bullet. Conspiracy. I mean, I don't recommend you bullet. You're free to do whatever you want, but I wouldn't recommend bullet. I mean, yeah, it's we can watch Ali Reza and Magnus, or we can watch Nakamura and Ali Reza or Naroditsky playing bullets as I don't, yeah, just for fun. For more understanding, I think we should do rapids, even longer time control. No. Okay, so that was another little blunder over there. Just another little blunder. I appreciate that. If you don't take away from sleep or other commitments you might be having during day, you absolutely more than welcome to be staying and watching a stream. Mine's I didn't. Oh bloody hell! Okay, so I got you now on the stream. Let me see what day is today. Today is Thursday. Okay, so I've started a bit earlier because this evening they do have the clashes with Hikaru and the other guy, and I think that will be the stream for today. But anyway, let's just continue now because we're here. So you playing here black, e4 takes. Wait, what's going on here? First, let me just. Oops. E4. I'm not a great fan of e4 here. I mean, I'm really not a great fan of this one because they just take it. I don't know. Let's just say they take with a pawn. And I mean, there's not a strong reason for us to start giving the pawns now in the middle here. I don't know why would we do that. Maybe that's not the best move. He should have played something else. Maybe he should have developed this bishop maybe first. Maybe he should have let me think. Something else. Maybe something with the e pawn. E6 or something to get this guy and pin your knight, for instance. Just that's just an idea. I think this one might allow white to keep harassing your guys with this kind of move. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about knight e6. Let's see if the engine recommends e6 or something else. Maybe e5? Or maybe, let's find out. The engine recommends knight c6 indeed. h6, a6, bishop f5, which I would have been tempted to probably play the bishop first, develop, and then push e pawn. Maybe in this fashion. but probably not knight c6, although the engine says it's not the worst move possible. Bishop is being attacked. Okay, so the reason you've lost here, the main reason you've lost the game, it's because you blundered the piece. So that would be the main stuff in all your games. And I can see that the clock really has generous time on your account. So you got a lot of time on your hands. A lot of time. I mean, the game is 10 minutes and you got 9 minutes, 13 seconds. I think you're still in a sort of bullet blitz mode. You're moving too quickly. You're just moving too quickly. Playing too quickly. If you were to just sit on your hands or something, just delay the move until you actually are satisfied with the consequences. Probably, you might be saving some. So, I mean, it's important not to lose pieces. So I think in the beginning, when we start playing, it's very important to not losing material. Very important. So definitely. So these are the things. And I think the previous one too. So you've resigned instead of playing c6, blocking a check from the bishop on b5. Now here it sort of makes sense if you want to resign. But I think you're moving too fast. You're just moving too fast. And you don't have time to actually assess all the stuff. Yeah, I don't see why not. Bishop b5 is actually great. It's actually great. Bishop b5 because you check with tempo, and they need to do something about it. And if they block, you could just, for instance, just take the bishop off, and then you can contemplate: can I do b4? Yes, you can, and maybe you even you're even winning the knight. So bishop b5. Let's just assume this bishop d7 takes, and whatever he takes with, and then you're going to be pushing b4. And now you might be just taking this guy off the. Well, he might be jumping here. Then you're going to attack them, probably queen e2. Where are they going to go? Probably they're going to go on b6. So you may not take the knight, but definitely bishop b5, exactly as you said. Bishop b5 is the better move here. That's exactly what you should have done. Exactly. Bishop b5, or just save the bishop if you don't want to do that. But bishop b5 is the most aggressive move. I think you're right. And in the opening, I wouldn't have given that pawn. I totally would not have given that pawn in the opening. So the reason you've lost is just two blunders in the first 5 minutes, that is. So it's just too many blunders. And we're losing pieces. Interesting. The guy goes knight b6, I guess. Oh, he defended. Okay. You pushed g4. That's another little blunder, I would say. Because either black knight or bishop can take. I mean, he can take with the bishop, I reckon. Unless I'm missing something, but I think he can. Let's take this guy off the board. You're also looking at this guy. Might be trying some ideas. Maybe you can, but even that, probably he's going to go on b6. Okay, he takes with the knight. Probably I would have played with the bishop. Okay. Knight f3. He pushes h5. Okay, this guy is hanging. This guy is hanging. Okay, he doesn't play the best of the moves. He doesn't look after his weaknesses. He pushes the h pawn. Okay. That's interesting. I'm not quite sure what you intend to do with the queen here on c5 conspiracy. If it was the c6, I guess he could just block. You can't touch the rook because the other queen, I mean, the black queen just defends it, and unless I'm missing something, I don't see what you can achieve with the queen on c5. Not mentioning he might be playing this kind of ideas. Okay, you want to take here. What if he plays like bishop d7 straight away? He plays bishop d7, then he's going to play e6 or e5. I'm not sure. It's interesting, but I'm not completely convinced. Maybe you should have kicked this knight away first. Make sure the knight is gone from your half territory. I don't. Yeah, it's just okay. Though that's a blunder now. Okay, so you blundered the queen. All right, conspiracy. The reason we actually lose is because we just given away pieces too easily in the first 10, 15 moves. If you give pieces, obviously it's going to be very difficult to stay in the game. We can't actually win it if we give away the pieces. So I suspect the guy took it. Yeah, and you took it back with the knight, but hey, you lost the queen. Very tough one. So, first thing first, conspiracy. Whatever you choose to play in the opening, you've got to keep it simple. Middle pawn, knight and bishop castle. Middle pawn, knight and bishop castle. And don't blunder pieces. So I think the time is nice. It's very good. You play 10 minutes. Hello, Mr. Luna. Good to see you again. So play something simple in the opening. Keep it very, very nice, simple, and healthy. Middle pawn, knight, and bishop. Castle the king. That's what it is in the opening for the time being. And don't give away pieces. Don't blunder pieces. And if you got 9 minutes on the clock, if you got 8 minutes on the clock, you know, just take the time and see, hey, is my queen under threat or something? And you should have expected that to happen. And in this position, it's tough, but you got to run away. A, maybe c5. With the c5, you still got to be very careful because this pawn's going to move, and then the bishop is going to attack your queen with tempo. So it is a bit tough. Your queen shouldn't be there in the first place. You shouldn't have gotten the queen on c5. You can't get your queen in the diagonals of the other guy's bishop. So you shouldn't be placing your queen to being attacked. Your queen actually should be back on d1. You shouldn't be there with the queen. So I think the reason you've lost those games is because you gave those pieces for free. And it's tough now. Okay. Tempo means in chess a turn. So lose a tempo means you lost a third. You lose a round because you're going to play that piece again. And you give your opponents the chance to develop another piece taking from you. You should have developed another piece and you lost the turn. You lost the tempo. Tempo comes from the Latin tempo, which means time. Yes, it means time. So tempo is the Latin time. That's what it means. And in chess, you lose a turn. Oops, I've got the driver. Just stay where you are, guys. I'll be back in a sec. Let me just open up the door. I'll be there to check. Okay, so I hope it's clear now what tempo means. All right. Hey, Mr. Luna, what's your username? Shall we look at the stuff you played? Let me know. Let me know. Hikaru Nakamura, the story. Okay. Hikaru Nakamura later on today, guys, plays Ali Reza. Can you imagine that? Unknown pain. Okay. Let's go and find your archive. If that's okay with you, if you want to have a quick review of the stuff you've played. So on KN WN. Okay, cool stuff. Okay. Right. Shall we have a look at the 44 moves one? Okay, dokie. Let's flip the board. Okay, now let's do it this way. Toggle off all the lines. So the guy plays c3, which is something weird here. We normally want to take more space, so we go either, the c4 type of development, or just something else, but that will do. Bishop f5. There's nothing wrong with your choice here, Mr. Luna. Hello, Elizabeth. Knight a3, that is weird. Knight a3. We don't particularly want to play knight a3 in the opening, so your opponent didn't choose the strongest move here. This is a weird move because the knight doesn't really go anywhere, and he needs to waste another tempo to play knight c2 if they want to go in the game, because here they won't achieve nothing. You're going to kick him away with c6. So knight a3, I don't think so. Knight c6, okay. Now you must play a6, Mr. Luna. You've got to do... You've got to play a6 here. You have to play this. You can't tolerate your opponent's pieces in your territory. That's okay. We just try to decipher together. So, Mr. Luna, we try to understand the moves together. Maybe I'm missing something and you could reveal more stuff to me, or vice versa. We're just learning from each other. But from my experience, this knight should be sent away straight away. You always need to repel your opponent's pieces as they make it in your territory. You've got to push them away later on. So you got to push them away with a6. Thank you very much. I'll get in touch if needed. I'll get in touch with needed. a6, so knight goes back. Very well played. b5. Okay, there's nothing wrong with this. e3. A little bit of a blunder here, Mr. Luna. When you play this kind of move, I fully understand your intention is actually b4, isn't it? Your intention is b4, and I understand that. But there is a big problem here. After you play the a5, well, a big problem in terms of chess, and that would be it, is that this guy is completely hanging. And we're looking at bishop. I think it's the most virulent, is the most problematic one, is actually bishop takes b5, pinning your knight to the king. So actually that's a bit of a problem. Then you have to drop your bishop from an active attacking diagonal to just break the pin. So that would be a little bit of a blunder here. I don't know if the engine would call it a blunder or a mistake. To me, it's just it's a misstep here. It's a bad one. We don't want to do this. We're gonna get in more tactical problems here and losing from our power. So you were lucky from this point of view. White is supposed to take this guy and make a pin. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. Yeah, you there, Mr. Luna? You watching? Conspiracy, you still there? That would be useful for you as well if you guys are present here. Okay, a bit of a blunder here. Just thanks for confirming. Just a bit of a blunder would be that the guy is actually threatening your bishop, so you either take or you just go somewhere. I guess you should have just taken here. Or bishop g6 if you don't like taking and activating their queen. Interesting, but still, it's interesting. I don't know what to say. This is weird. The whole stuff looks weird. What is the guy playing? I think he should have just taken here. Or at least just get the knight away. Because this move here means that you could take the guy's bishop and they will take. And then the knight, interestingly, doesn't have too many squares to be saved. They got to be very careful when you start opening up things. Anyway, it's weird. Very strange choices. Now, this guy is hanging again. So I fully appreciate you want to take on c3 and make it a mess. I understand that. The problem is a full piece is hanging, actually, Mr. Luna. This is completely hanging. Completely hanging. I wouldn't necessarily do that move. I would probably look at this kind of ideas. I want to, opening up my bishop a little bit, maybe bishop b4, and then play something like c2, check the king, and winning the queen. I would probably think of this idea. The one is a little bit too defensive. First, he doesn't need to take. Luna, he doesn't need to take your knight. They could very well take on c3. And then you have a very peripheral knight. Your knight on a7 would be just on the margin, doing pretty much kind of nothing. So that's another element we need to keep in mind. Exactly, the guy took on c3. Now you ended up with the knight on a very unfortunate square, right on the rim. Now you played a decent one, e6, knight f6, you kind of attacking. A bit weird to have played f3. He should have just played bishop h3 or something, because f3 is the square destined for the knight or something. But hey, interesting, very weird. Let me tell you something. What happens if you were to push h5? Just wondering. Do you think they can save the bishop if we push h7 to h5, Luna? And what was it? Conspiracy Luna. Do you think, guys, after h5, the white bishop can be saved? So I think you might be just in a position to get some of the material back, because the guy simply blocked his bishops any retreating squares, and I think it looks interesting. You might be able to get your material back. Excellent. Very well. Okay, bishop d6 I think looks very promising now, because you're looking at this guy. Of course they could play bishop f4, but okay, he defends. Actually, he defends on g3 with the queen. Okay. Very interesting. Again, what is going on here? I think you should just moving the pawn up. You should move the pawn up straight away. Okay, you took it though. You took it. The problem is it's going to take with tempo again. So you take, the guy's going to take with a check. And then you have to do something. Probably moving on f8 in this very weird looking position. Okay. What? Okay, there's no reason to move this pawn. This pawn has nothing to do with the dynamics of the game now. If you want to look at something interesting, probably you should be contemplating something like either castling in order to get the rook on e, or just simply push the pawn. I think that one looks very good. The reason I would push the pawn is that this guy would have to move. Now, they might be coming on e5, isn't it? And then you're going to take, and then they're going to take. So, castling would be something. Yeah. Castling or taking here, and if knight takes, you could take with check. That might be something. And then castle. So one of these two. Definitely not this one. That feels like lose over tempo. When you push this guy, that just doesn't do nothing with our current situation, Luna, here. Does do nothing. Absolutely nothing. a4, bishop to g5. f6. Okay, the bishop has to move. I know it's strange, but you have to castle because you need to free up your knight. or at least just hit the queen somehow. You've got to do something. Yes, that would be a check on g3. Yeah, okay. No, not g6. Again, I think you want to castle and get a rook or something to attack. And you free up your knight. Very important to free up the knight. So the king mustn't stay here. The black king shouldn't be on e8. You must castle. Yeah, this kind of checks are coming indeed. You can't move the knight. What can you possibly do? You might have a check here though. Let me look at this one. What about queen to e7, right? Queen to e7. Queen to e7. Interesting. Then they might be playing this. And you go where? Here. They can't get yet the rooks because you got a bishop. It's interesting, but actually I'm not fully convinced. They might be giving you a rook. You take once, they get another rook. Then what do we do? So probably castles, castles, and then rook e8. What do you think about this idea? What did you play? Oh, definitely not g6. Definitely not g6. No, g6 doesn't have to do. I mean, it just doesn't do nothing, g6. If it does something, it's actually worsening. Okay, you want to stop the knight, if I understand correctly. G6, you played it strictly from stopping the knight. But I think the best bet is just castle, and then you get a check with tempo. Other than that, I don't know. I'm not fully convinced about queen e7, though. I'm not very convinced. Although after king f3, you might be able to play a check here, but then they take, you take, they still checking your... No, you have to castle. Let's see what the engine suggests we should be playing here. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So I ultimately got it correctly in the end. I would have chosen to castle the king. It's got to be a castling here. You got quite double more time. I mean, the other guy is like 4 minutes 30 seconds. You are 7 minutes 28 seconds. So you've got more time. In this kind of cases, guys, I would be probably using the minutes. If I'm not completely certain, I would have probably used the minutes. If I'm like 3-4 minutes extra, I really want to make sure I'm playing the right stuff. So I really think about this one. So as I look at it, yes, castling is the best stuff to play for the said reasons. And then you have quite a nice attack on the White King, which is another very happy square. Your knight would be free. So if you castle Luna, your knight would be free. Everything is free now, and then you can go for very ferocious attacks. You could do knight to c4, rooks on e8. I mean, it's looking good. If there is a problem, bishop retreats here and guards the e1 square. I think you're doing quite promising. You could play even for a win here. I don't see why not. If Black King makes it to safety. So we're gonna leave it at that with this game. Exactly as I said to our friend Conspiracy, I think we should be focusing on not giving blundering pieces. That's very important. And one way for us to not losing pieces would be to just do probably more puzzles, do more tactics, uh, more puzzles. And if you start doing puzzles now, the computer, the algorithm sees your level, so to speak. So you will get puzzles according to your level. So once you do puzzles, you solve them, you're getting stronger, doing tactics, and then the engine sees you, sees your strength, and it offers you, more and more complex puzzles. So maybe don't spend too much time on memorizing lines in the opening now at this stage, I guess. Just do simple stuff. Middle pawn, knight, bishop, castle. That's it. That's the plan. That's the plan in the opening. And then look for not blundering. And if your opponent blunders, take their piece. Something like that. They blunder, you take their piece. Absolutely. Okay, so that was okay. Let's just look one last Let's very quickly see the 14 moves one. Let's see the 14 moves one. Very briefly. Let's see what went wrong here. Okay. I'm not sure about the d5 here. This is a slightly unorthodox way to play. Probably just e5. You know, a little bit of a Philidor. I mean, because you got yourself into this. Just toggle off this line. So, yeah, you need to make sure that this guy doesn't come down the board here, because then it's going to get weird. So probably e5, d6 type of Philidor. Just make a pin, play a bishop to e7, castle your king. This kind of ideas, I think might be very much doable. This one here, I think it allows white to push, for instance. Did they do that? Yes. Now you have to worry about your knight, Luna. You have to decide, what am I doing with the knight? Where do I get them? You might have some escaping squares after all. Even if you consider going back, going here, attacking twice, or going here on e4. So you do save your knight. You do save the knight, but not by playing e6. So I would say almost anything works here for black. Save the knight. This one, attacking twice the e5. This one, bishop takes, pawn takes. You're going to attack this guy with tempo. Knight's on f3, has to play. And then you're going to take the other pawn. For instance, just give an example. Even knight to g8. Okay, this is not something I'm never happy to play. I'm never ever happy to play this knight back where they were. But instead of losing the piece, it's preferable. Whereas e6 loses a whole piece here. Definitely not the stuff. Oh. Okay. You're pushing that center a lot. Maybe you should have just played the bishop. Maybe you should have played the piece first. Bishop c5 kind of ideas. Okay, bishop d6. Okay. Now you got to be ready about this kind of stuff. And you have to move the queen. The guy took unnecessarily. He should have kept the pin. Weird. He should have attacked your queen, probably. Okay. Interesting. You go for the b2 pawn. He takes. Whoa. Queen is under threat. Okay. So first you need to address the queen issue. The issue with the queen being attacked by a pawn. So now bishop takes e5. It's absolutely paramount. You have to play this. Bishop takes e5 is the only correct move for black here. You got yourself into this. Bishop takes on e5, the only correct move. Bishop takes e5. Knight takes, you take, you keep playing like this. And then, yes, you do threaten the b2. So very importantly, bishop takes e5. Very importantly, this one. You need to play it now. Yeah, it kind of loses the queen. Ooh, that's weird. The guy should have taken your queen straight away. They should have taken the queen immediately. So you were lucky. You made a blunder. You were lucky, but the other guy didn't exploit the weakness you've created. The blunder. He didn't punish you for the blunder. Huh. Okay. So when you move on g6, you actually notice that the knight actually takes a piece for free from you. We kind of blunder stuff here. Yeah. So pretty much similar as with the other friend of ours, Conspiracy. And we just tend to blunder pieces. And yeah, blundering pieces means we sort of gonna lose the game, medium long term. We can't survive if we give the pieces. So I guess simple in the opening. Don't make it a huge philosophy for the time being. And what I think the main reason for our friends that are intermediate, beginners or intermediates, is that they blunder pieces in the opening. So we need to deal with that first. First thing first, we mustn't losing pieces in the opening. Well, we mustn't lose pieces at all. If we had to trade them, that's fine. But if we just give them for free, that is why, actually, that's the main reason we're losing the games. That's exactly what it is. Okay? Exactly what it is. So, let me try just very briefly. Let me do some puzzle rush. Actually, I'm just gonna start a few. Just a few if you're still here. Okay. Would you advise White to play something here in particular? What do you think? What would you personally play here, Mr. Luna? This kind of tactics I think are very, very, very nice. What do you think we should be playing? With White, that is. Let's look at the forcing combinations. We need to find some forcing sequences here. Something that forces our opponent. How would you punish your opponent for the blunder they made? Knight d7, knight b6. What do you think, guys? What do you think, Luna? What do you think, Conspiracy, if you guys still there? You know. And by the way, if you can log in via Twitch, would be probably more useful to me. So, Mr. Luna, are you still there? That's a very good one. And yeah, you would take the rook, the queen, knight would capture. Then you would probably have a checkmate with the rook on the back rank. So we play the forcing move. And this one would be back rank issue, the perennial back rank issues. Absolutely, you are correct, Mr. Luna. What about this one? What about this particular puzzle? How would you deal with this? Where might be the threat? How should White take advantage of the bishop pair? We've got an awesome bishop pair here. Absolutely terrifying. I am terrified to play against the bishop pair. This is terrifying. Especially in this position, as we can see here. This is monstrous. White is winning in 2-3 moves. Okay, it's very soon game over. How would you take advantage of your opponent on the last move? E6, E5? Although looks like puts a stop to your dark square bishop. Actually, it doesn't. We can actually punish black for this mistake they played. How would you recommend to do this? Conspiracy, if you're still there, you're welcome. Mr. Luna, if you spot it, you're welcome too. Can you envisage the combination, the sequence, the pieces harmonizing, working together to deliver the last strike here, the finisher? B? Absolutely. Why would you do that, if I may ask? Luna, why would you play bishop b2 takes on e5? Why exactly would you do that? So I don't say no. I don't think it's bad at all. Bishop takes pawn is actually awesome. It's absolutely superb. Why would you take that pawn on e5 actually? Just for the sake of taking a pawn? Or is there a greater purpose behind the move? What might be the reason? Bishop takes pawn. I think I totally agree with you. I absolutely agree. And that's the correct move. You are right. This is exactly the correct move. So bishop takes here because we had the check. Oh, they moved it quickly next to the next one. We take that pawn because we wanted to deliver checkmate. Uh, we wanted to deliver checkmate on h8. I think that was the square with the rook. So the bishop took the pawn, and we also had the rook. So we wanted to actually deliver checkmate. That is correct. That was a free pawn. That is absolutely true. That was a free pawn, but actually we had a higher purpose, and the higher purpose was the checkmate. Now, probably you can notice this, so I'm not going to ask because it is obvious, I guess. Now, that's again, there's some back rank issues. We always need to look for the back rank for ourselves and against our opponents too. Again, I mean, look at the amount of puzzles based on the back rank issues. It's overwhelming. Now, that gets a little bit more tactic, but not incredibly difficult. What do you think, ladies and gents? What might be the stuff here to play? What is white supposed to be doing here? Got a we've got a winning position here. Winning position and a wonderful battery. Should be able to deliver a direct combination here and winning. We are going to win in only 2 moves. Going to win in 2 moves here, ladies and gents. Luna, did you see it? Got a queen working together with the bishop. These guys, very powerful together. They are connected. The bishop is the helper. The queen delivers the attack. Queen launches now on h7. Checks the black king. Can't take queen because the bishop defends the queen. You're going to have to move away. And once they do so, you pursue them one more time. Unfortunately for black, there's nothing to block with. That would be indeed a checkmate. 1 and 2. And we've got a bishop here. We've got a queen on f3. Quite doable. Because again, we got to look at the pieces connection. And we can see the bishop. We can see the queen. That is a checkmate again. Very nicely happening here. Okay. What do we have? Well, we always have to look at pieces connection. And we've got a bishop on c5. And then again, they are colluding with the black queen on h4. That's more than enough for us to figure out the winning strike here. We are winning immediately. Single move. Oh, you're going to play the queen and deliver checkmate. So rather than panicking, because we've seen the bishop attacking the rook, so rather than panicking, yes, that was correct, Mr. Luna. I've read your message now. Queen to f2 was indeed the correct answer. Yes, that is true. That is correct. What about this one? Would you move the rook or would you do something else? My chess friends, what do you think? Should you guys move the rook or would you play another piece? What would you recommend, guys? Should I run away with the rook? Or is there another plan that white might be doing straight away? If I'm looking at the queen and the rook, I think they wonderfully work together and they meet up somewhere. There is an intersection point here. If I am to draw a vertical line, I can see that the queen and the rook are actually attacking twice the e7 square, which is only defended once. So this is a very nice basic checkmate in which we have the helper, we've got the attacking. It could be the rook, but actually we got something way stronger. So, Mr. Luna, I think you got the right attacking idea in principle because you've understood that the rook and the queen attack together at the same time. That is true. You could move the rook and take the knight, but that's not a checkmate. What if I told you that actually you can just deliver a checkmate straight away? So, again, I understand that we tend as humans to slightly panicking and to move the piece that has just been attacked. But actually, we can play a way stronger move. And the strongest move ever is when you deliver checkmate. So rook takes e7 is strong-ish. It's not actually what we want to do. It's not what we want to do. Actually, we might even lose the game. Queen takes the knight is actually the absolute finisher. Queen taking knight is actually how you win. You actually win. Queen takes the knight wins straight away. Oopsie daisy, let me just monitor a bit. Totally. That's actually checkmate here. Absolutely. You are correct. So this kind of puzzles will definitely make you a stronger player, Luna. So if you're doing 10, 15, 20 puzzles like this every single day, if you do them 10, 20 puzzles like this, I'm pretty sure you will come up very well after the opening, after you play the middle pawn, the knight and bishop in your castle. I'm pretty sure your game in the middle game, your tactics would be way better. Okay? Would be way better. So it's very important we don't blunder pieces. And we deliver the correct attack when we have the opportunity. So we're just going to do the last one now. Then we're going to take a break. And I think I'm going to see you guys in like 4 hours when Alireza playing Nakamura. If you want to come back, Mr. Luna, like in 4 hours, we'll definitely have another session quickly here. Now, which pawn? So let's this be the last exercise, so to speak. Which pawn can the queen take? So the queen is currently on e4. What pawn exactly you would like to capture? Do you want to take this guy on d5, or what pawn exactly you want to take? Sorry, I'm just asking. I want to make sure you understood the correct position here. So what pawn would you take with the queen on e4? Okay, you want to take the d5 pawn with the queen. When you take here, practically nothing happens, Luna. You're taking that pawn. You take it. I get it. I get it. Nothing really takes place. You actually have a way stronger capture. So rather than queen taking d5, which is very uncertain, very uncertain, queen taking d5, which really doesn't do nothing. I mean, black's going to play something like rook to d8, attacking your queen with tempo. Yeah, okay, you've got a bishop. I mean, it's uncertain. You actually have a checkmate in a move. So rather than taking the pawn, why not we just attacking the black king and deliver checkmate in a single move? I'm very happy you're back, Conspiracy. I was just talking to Luna and I was telling them that actually in 4 hours I'll be returning for Nakamura Alireza Clash. So I think I'm going to see you guys again in 4 hours if you're coming back. If you're coming back, I would be here, guys, to exchange a couple more ideas. So rather than queen taking d5, people, we've got queen taking on h7. Way more stronger. Stronger in terms of just simply checkmating the king. So this is absolutely brilliant. Yes, you've seen it, Mr. Luna. That is the correct move indeed. Queen captures h7. Checkmate. Oh, Conspiracy, don't neglect your sleep, man. This is absolutely paramount. So take care of yourself. If it's not incredibly late, whatever you want now, take your time. That's very good you've seen it. And I'll see you like when Alireza starts playing Nakamura, guys. If you are available. If not, that's okay. I'm sure I'm going to see you at a later time. So, take care of yourselves, folks. Good to have met you again. And I will definitely, I think I will be returning in 4 hours to stream when Nakamura plays Alireza. Okay. See you very soon, folks. Okay? See you very soon.